Time now for the Nick Hart Show, our weekly chat with the GIbson Southern Titans head football coach. The Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash is made possible by Brett's Car Care, Chips, Sell My Tees, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Daylight Land Management, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Hobb Range Hood Company, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hydorn Construction, Hilliard Lions, Matt Monroe, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Johnson Commercial Mowing, Julia's School of Dance, Kathy Solman Photography, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Make Your Mark, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, MyTech Systems, Pole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, at Mickle of Agrigold, and by Ziliac Enterprises. Now, the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
Welcome to the Nick Hart Show. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me is head coach of the GIbson Southern Titans, Nick Hart. And coach, your Titans are now 6-2 overall and 5-1 in Pocket Athletic Conference play after defeating Tell City on Friday night 37-0. So let's take a look at the team and individual stats from the win for the Titans. Starting right off here, a big difference in the number of plays in this ballgame. Your ball club had 61 plays, while Tell City had 41. Total offense, the disparities continue here. Your ball club had 442 yards of total offense compared to 128 for Tell City. Rushing yards, Titans had 186 yards of rushing, Tell City with 125. And then passing yards, again, another huge disparity here. 256 yards of passing for the Titans, 3 yards for Tell City. And folks, I did not stutter, 3 yards for Tell City. Turnovers was a key. Again, your ball club was 0 turnovers, but 2 turnovers for Tell City, one of which definitely led to a score very early in the ballgame and set the tempo for this game.
Yeah, that play was huge. Tucker Bowes, knocked it loose, and Colton Stefanich recovered. And that was big because they just stopped us on 4th down, right at the doorstep of the red zone. And, their very first play, knock it loose, get the ball back. That was a huge play by the defense, and I think really kind of got the momentum going our way.
Well, now looking at the 3rd down conversion attempts, your ball club was 50%, 6 for 12, and I know you would like to see that a little bit higher. You don't expect perfection because, that's almost nearly impossible unless you're 1 for 1 or 2 for 2, but you had 12 opportunities on 3rd down conversions, 6 for 12, 50%, you'll take it, but you'd like to see that a little higher.
Yeah, a little higher. One led to a field goal. We had the turnover on downs, but overall, pretty good.
And a pretty penalty-free game for both ball clubs. Tell City only had 4 penalties for 40 yards, and your ball club had 1 penalty for 15 yards. So pretty yellow hanky-free.
Yep.
So let's go into some of the individual stats here. Brady Allen was 17 for 31, 256 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not exactly the Nintendo-esque stats that we're used to seeing, not only from Brady, but over the past years from your quarterbacks in the offense, but still a pretty good night.
Really good. I thought he played really efficiently. We talked in the postgame, got to catch the ball a little bit better. But I thought he, had a really efficient night. Conditions, were were a little tough for throwing the football, and I thought he did a great job.
Well, and that's a key that I wanted to make sure to bring up also was the fact with that crosswind coming across the field, kind of even at an angle. It wasn't directly straight across, but enough to where sometimes, especially if you were headed south, left to right, as we would call it up on the booth on the radio dial, if he was throwing out to his right, that ball was kind of like a headwind coming right in there and would knock it and dovetail it down.
Yep.
So it made it a difficult night for throwing conditions for sure. Rushing stat-wise, Mitchell Spindler had 21 carries for 139 yards and a touchdown. That's not bad. Nathan Bowes had 4 carries for 44 yards. Max Beadles, 1 carry for 2 yards and a touchdown. Outstanding. I mean, he comes in on that heavy package, the triple I, and you gave it to the second man because everybody's probably saying, well, Mitchell Spindler's going to get this. Surprise, Max Beadles got it. But Owen Bryant had 1 carry for 1 yard. Brady Allen had 3 carries for 0 yards. Receiving stats, Ben Butler had 9 receptions for 147 yards and 2 touchdowns. Adam May had 5 receptions for 63 yards. Logan Murphin was 1 for 37 and a touchdown. Seth DeLong had 1 for 6. And Mitchell Spindler had 1 reception for 3 yards. And looking at the receivers, you had 5 receivers catch passes on the night. Butler has obviously all of the big numbers there. But the guy that I thought really that was the glue for the receiving core on this night was Adam May.
Yeah, Adam's playing great football. I think he's, probably been our, most consistent guy, throughout the year. He's done a wonderful job blocking. Very few drops, if any, that I can remember. He's done a really good job and is greatly improved from a year ago. I think all of our receivers have had a great year, but Adam has been like Mr. Steady. It's like I'm not a big stats guy, but you look at him after the game and it always seems like he's got like 5 for 52 or something. Like he maybe hasn't had like the 150-yard game, but he hasn't had like the 3-yard game either. He just seems to be steady and always seems to make that big like first down catch on 3rd and 6 or whatever. So Adam's playing great football.
Well, as Jason likes to call Mitchell Spindler, old reliable. Well, in the receiving core, old reliable would be Adam May. I mean, Seth DeLong has the ability to catch the ball and be gone in a heartbeat. Butler, same thing. I mean, he's out there reminding me of the old days when I used to throw out there the B button. He's got the spins, he's got the moves, but both of those guys can flat fly. Murphin can catch the ball and fly. Adam May is your biggest target out on the field, so everybody can see him, but yet it's like, hey, we're going to get him the ball, he's going to move the chains, and now we're going to run the offense again with first down. Yeah,
he does a great job, runs great routes, blocks well. He's a great leader, awesome kid.
So on the defensive side now, Max Beadles led the way with 11 solo and 4 assists. So a big night on defense and a touchdown. That had to be a very special senior night for Max Beadles.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been awesome all year.
Tanner Moskos had 8 solo, 1 assist, and a tackle for loss. And that young man, his name's been creeping up in our stats the last couple weeks.
I'll tell you what. He's playing great football. He is probably playing the best football in our defensive line right now. And I think it's just a great message for kids. I don't know. He's continued to improve the whole year, okay, but we probably didn't do a great job of evaluating early. Like he started the first couple games, then he didn't, and now he's kind of back in. He played himself back into the mix. I think a lot of kids might have, kind of hung their head a little bit if they went from, being a starter to a rotator or whatever. He just said, I'm going to play well enough that you don't have a choice. And he's done that, and now he's playing the best football in our defensive line. I'm really, really proud of Tanner, and he's playing wonderful for us right now.
And then Carter Green had 4 solo and 4 assists. Sterling Stocker had 4 solo and 4 assists. Blake Stuckey with 3 solo, an assist, and a tackle for loss. And dadgum, he almost had himself an interception and a chance to maybe doing a little end zone dance.
Yeah, there's a reason why linemen are linemen. But no,
you play on the defensive side for a reason.
Yeah. If he could catch really well, he'd probably be playing tight end or something. So there's a reason why he's got his hand down in the dirt.
All right, Coach. So let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll get your overall thoughts from Game 8 concerning the offense, defense, and special teams. But right now, we need to thank the folks that make the Nick Hart Show possible on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Make Your Mark, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kathy Solman Photography, Julia's School of Dance, Johnson Commercial Mowing, and in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis. You love sports. You're your team's ultimate fan. Why not turn that passion into the ultimate career? Enroll now in the brand new Sports Marketing and Media program at Wabash Valley College. Learn how to use digital video and other media to add to the fan experience, how to engage fans on social media, and how to create excitement by hosting events and promotions. Get off the sidelines and into the game. Find out more about the WVC Sports Marketing and Media program online at www.iecc.edu or by phone at 618-262-8641.
Thank you for listening to 89.1 The Bash and the Nick Hart Show. All right, Coach, let's start with your thoughts. First off, from the offense, putting up 37 points on the night on senior night.
A lot of really good stuff. Not our most efficient game, we got to clean that up. I think, if you kind of look at when our offense has been stopped, there's not a lot of times people have done stuff to stop us. It's us stopping ourselves. A penalty, a drop pass, missing a pass, missing an assignment up front, whatever it might be. So I think we got a chance to be really dangerous on the offensive side of the ball, and we have been at times. I think a lot of people would take 37 points in 3 quarters of work. I think that we can play better than what we did on Friday night. Overall, I still think, we had a lot more good plays than we had bad plays. We got to get rid of some of those bad plays as we head into some really important games.
Well, and as you mentioned, the 37 points in 3 quarters of play, that is pretty outstanding. And yes, there's a lot of people that would kill for that in 4 quarters of play. But the thing is, as well as that sounds on the offensive side, you take this Tell City Ball Club, they came in and they were putting points up on the board, yet your defense gave them the goose egg on Friday night.
Yeah, phenomenal. And I think our coaches did a great job of preparing our kids this past week. And then I think our kids did a great job of going out and executing what we did in practice all week, facing a very similar offense to what Heritage Hills did to us a couple weeks ago. And obviously Heritage Hills is a better football team. That's not a shock. But Tell City's very good. They've put up a lot of points in an offense that's not designed to necessarily put up a lot of points. They've scored a lot of points this year. Heck, they were just coming off a 43-point performance against North Posey. And they tried to get into some of the similar stuff that Heritage Hills hurt us with in that game. So I thought our defense did a great job of being, alignment, assignment. I think our defensive staff did a good job of kind of making everything uniform, no matter what formation they were in, so we could just line up and play football. I thought that was big for our defense, and then our kids went out and executed it. We only had a couple of slip ups on the assignment end of it. Which again, if you see, we're gonna see a lot of flex bone here coming up. Salem, who we drew in the sectionals, a flex bone team. If you get past them, you got Heritage Hills down the line, they're a flex bone team. So it's not like the offense is going away from us anytime soon. So it's something we got to continue to work at. And we went from making 45 mistakes with alignment and assignment 2 weeks ago to 2 on Friday night. So that was a good jump in 2 weeks, and hopefully in 2 more weeks that number will go from 2 to 0. And we're playing it exactly the way that we should be. But I thought our defense was the star of the show on Friday night. Getting a second consecutive shutout, but more importantly, how we did it. Man, I was proud of them. They only got that one play on us, which was a forward pass that didn't get called on the option. But still, we blew the assignment. Originally that was one of our 2 plays that we missed on. But actually should have got called back because it was a forward pass. But again, I thought just defense. It was probably their best game of the season, and was really happy that those guys went out and had a great night.
Well, and then on the special team side of things, Jake Novotny back on the field. chili dipped his first one. You could just see his foot drug right through the carpet trying to get the first one up. But after that, I mean, he got right back in the swing of things, leaving off exactly where Jake Novotny left off a few weeks ago. So I thought your special teams played very well, consistent again.
Yeah, for sure. Jake's so dang good. I didn't even see the extra point he missed. I was on the iPad showing something to an offensive player that had just come off the field. He's so automatic. I almost don't even watch what's going on. I kind of move on to something else. So when he missed it, I was trying to figure out what the heck. I was asking guys what happened. Did it get blocked? Did it get it wouldn't be that Jake missed it. So it was great to have him back. Kickoff coverage was phenomenal the whole night. Made a field goal. Made the rest of our extra points. Didn't have to punt, which is always, a great day. And then, really they did a good job of keeping away from us on the punt return game. And I thought we did a good job of not forcing it and making mistakes. So, really, really good night for the special teams.
All right. Well, Coach, we need to thank some of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show. And when we come back, we'll take a look around the Pocket Athletic Conference to wrap up week number 8, get prepared for week number 9. We'll also talk a little bit about Sectional 32. That's upcoming, as you had alluded to the fact that the draw just happened this past Sunday. So you are listening to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, Roberts Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, LLC, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, South Gibson Grain, 10 Barge Seed, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, and by Ziliak Enterprises. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. The list of social media platforms continues to grow, and so too does the value of social media to businesses. The new Social Media Management Certificate program at Wabash Valley College prepares you for a career in social media or teaches you how to effectively use social media to grow your own business. From advertising and promotion to public relations and marketing, this certificate program teaches you the ins and outs of successful social media strategy. For more information, visit www.iecc.edu or call 618-262-8641 today.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash. I am Bob Bowser, and joining me as head coach of the Titans, Nick Hart. So, Coach, let's talk Pocket Athletic Conference. First off, from this past Friday night, Boonville defeated South Spencer 49-13. Boonville kind of woke up a little bit here. Yeah,
they did. Obviously we were rooting for South Spencer in a conference game, but Boonville will be members of the PAC starting next year. So a little kind of futuristic conference PAC battle there.
Well, and then, of course, your Titans defeated Tell City 37-0. Heritage Hills defeated Forest Park 48-6.
Yep, man, they just continue to play well. They don't have like that slip-up game, and they have a very veteran group, and that's what you kind of expect out of a veteran group. So, they're doing a great job and continuing to roll. Well,
and North Posey got potentially a confidence builder heading into postseason as they defeated Tecumseh 38-6.
Yeah, good win for them. Schedule kind of lightens up at the back end for them, and hopefully they can get on a little bit of a roll here before the tournament begins.
And Southridge defeated Pike Central 70-3.
Yeah, and I know we'll talk about them more because it's who we got this week, but it's just, now that we've, watched film on Southridge, just so impressive, the job that their staff's done and their kids have done, and it just shows how great of a program they are with all they've lost and how well they've played. And I probably sound like a repeated record here because I think we say it about them every week, but just continue to be impressed by them and their program.
Well, taking a look at the standings, Heritage Hills on top. They're 8-0 overall, 6-0 in conference play. Southridge is 7-1 overall, 5-1 in conference play. Your Titans are 6-2, 5-1 in conference play. Tell City is now 5-3 overall, 3-3 in conference play. Forest Park is 4-4 overall, 2-4 in conference play. North Posey is 3-5 overall, 2-4 within the conference. South Spencer is 1-7 overall, 1-5 in the conference. And Pike Central is 0-8, 0-6 within the conference. Now, this final Friday night, Friday, October 18, is all Pocket Athletic Conference games. Forest Park at Tell City. I think that's going to be a dandy of a ball game.
It is, and it's kind of an interesting game because they ended up drawing each other in the first round of the sectional, so they're going to see each other.
So who's going to be most vanilla?
Yeah, they're going to see each other in back-to-back weeks here, and that's the one thing I'm thankful that we've never been in this position before because Southridge has never been in our sectional, and they are this year. That was really one team that I didn't want to play where you'd have to do that in back-to-back weeks. That's going to be an interesting game, and like you said, who shows what, heading into week 10.
And then, of course, Heritage Hills at South Spencer. Heritage Hills, I think it's just called a tune-up for the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they continue to roll. It's a big county rivalry and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes those games go a little quirky, but they're just playing so well right now.
And then North Posey at Pike Central.
Yeah, again, we kind of talked about how North Posey, got a chance to kind of get rolling here before the sectional.
Well, and then, of course, that leaves just one more game. It's your Titans at Southridge, and we'll talk about that in our final segment. But let's get real quick here. As we alluded to the fact that Sectional 32, the drawings are out, the pairings are out for IHSAA playoffs. And top to bottom here, Heritage Hills will be at Corydon. Your Titans will be at Salem on Friday, October the 25th. And I believe that's a 7 p.m. ball game.
7 p.m. our time.
Our time.
Yep.
So heading over to Salem. And if I'm not mistaken, that Salem girls basketball team's pretty salty.
Yeah, we played them in the girls' regional last year. But that's a interesting sectional, long way to go. I don't know. Some guy at the high school media day made a joke about the Google Maps being down at the HSA office, and coincidentally, we're the ones traveling to Salem. But it's we don't know a lot about him. I know their coach, and I know he does a good job, and they've had a good year. It is a long drive. But man, when you're playing for your season, it doesn't matter how far the drive is or where you're going or who you're playing. You got to show up and take care of business, and we'll definitely get to work on those guys after this week. We got to get we got a huge one with Southridge this week, and that's really where our team's focus is.
Well, and then in the bottom half of the bracket, speaking of Southridge, Mount Vernon will go to Southridge in that bottom half bracket in the quarterfinal game. And then Evansville Bossy will be at North Harrison. So really, when you look at things, the big matchup could be in week number 2 on November 1st. It's win or go home. Bottom line is you got to win each week or you don't get there. But week number 2 in the playoffs, the rematch with Heritage Hills, and that would be at GIbson Southern. The guys can't look ahead to that. They've got to take care of business, first of all, Friday night at Southridge, and then got to go to Salem in order to get that rematch. Yeah.
Nobody's ever won a sectional championship that lost in the first round. And I really think it's a little bit of coach speak and cliche, but, man, if you start looking down the road about who you're going to play and everything, I mean, that's fine for fans to do. But if you're on the team, on the staff, you start looking down the road, you're going to be sitting at home while the other team goes down the road. And I really think, it's kind of coach speak and stuff, but it's like a one-game season when you get in the playoffs, and you got to have tunnel vision, and that's your only focus, or you're going to be sitting at home.
All right. Well, Coach, we have one more segment to go, which means it's time to get the listeners ready for Friday night as your team prepares to host Southridge. But first, let's thank some of the underwriters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Hilliard Lyons and Matt Monroe, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobb Range Hood Company, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips, Sell My Tees, Brett's Car Care, and Matt Mickle of Agrigold.
Looking for a fun and great future in radio or television? Well then, come and check out the radio TV broadcasting program at Wabash Valley College. It is a 2-year degree program for students interested in various aspects of career opportunities in broadcasting and new media. Students will gain valuable hands-on experience by working at the college's radio station 89.1 The Bash and on the college's cable TV station, News Channel 15. Wanting to learn more, go to www.iecc.edu or call us at 618-262-8641.
Welcome back to the Nick Hart Show right here on 89.1 The Bash, or you may be using the free app to access the show on your cell phone. So, Coach, week number 9, your Titans will travel to Southridge on Friday for a 6:30 p.m. ball game, and we will have all the action live on 89.1 The Bash with pregame at 6:15 p.m. The Raiders will enter this contest with a record of 7-1 overall, 5-1 in conference play. Y'all are tied, looking to see who can be number 2. Whoever wins will be number 2. Loser gets number 3. What do you expect to see from them on offense?
And I think, going off your point here too, it's such a big game for both of us for, some momentum heading into the playoffs. I think more importantly, maybe even than being second place in the conference is, getting a big win over a really good team going into the playoffs. I think both teams are ranked, and, it's a chance to beat a ranked team going into the playoffs for both of us. So on offense, shotgun wing T, a lot of motion, jet sweep, fake the jet, quarterback ISO, fake the jet. Running back trap, buck sweep, double handoff, everything you expect from a wing T team. They just do it out of the shotgun, and that allows their quarterback to get involved in the run game as well. So a lot of moving parts. They'll throw some different formations at you, so it's similar to playing a flex bone team in that you have to be alignment, assignment, like all those things are so important. If your eyes aren't where they're supposed to be, you're going to be in big trouble. That's such a big thing, and like in all of football, but I think it's even more important when you play wing T teams. If you can make some dents on the line of scrimmage, that's huge. You can knock off some pullers and some of the double handoff stuff. But I think one thing that we always prepare for with these guys, I think they're so well coached, is they do such a great job in the play action game off of everything that they do, that you got to make sure that you don't give up a cheap one, and they've hit us on some big pass plays in the past, and so I think that's one big thing too, is not to give up those huge plays in the passing game, because they do such a great job off their play action stuff.
All right, so let's go over to defense now. What do you expect to see defensively from Southridge? Well,
they're going to they are who they are, and they're going to either be, against us in the past, they played a lot of 3-4. This year, we haven't seen any 3-4 on film. It's been all 4-3, and they've kind of played 3-4 and 4-3 against us in the past. But those outside linebackers, whatever it is, they're going to hug the box. They're going to play man-to-man against us. They're going to take away the run and try and make you one-dimensional and have to throw the football, which we're okay with. But they'll get after you, and they do a great job. They're fast, they're physical, they fly around. They're gonna blitz you. They're gonna try and get in your face. Very aggressive style of defense, and we got to make sure that we can protect the QB, and we're gonna have to. We're not throwing the run game away. You got to find a way to manufacture some runs, and keep them honest. I think that helps our play action game. So those are kind of some keys for us. Is up front picking up all their blitzing and twisting and everything that they like to do. And then, finding some ways to run the football.
And what have you seen from them special teams-wise, the kicking game?
They probably don't have it seems like they always have a phenomenal kicker, and this kid's really good. He's probably not to the level that they've had in the past. He probably kicks it to the 10, on kickoffs, and usually it seems like he kicks it they have a kid that kicks about 7 yards deep on kickoff. So there's nothing wrong with kicking it to the 10. They've just had some excellent kickers, and he does great on extra points and all that. Their punt team sound. They've popped some big returns. Again, in the Heritage Hills game, they almost broke a kickoff return for a touchdown. So definitely got to make sure that we're in our lanes and covering the way we're supposed to be.
All right, Coach. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's show. Anything else that you want to mention?
Yeah, great week for the lower level guys. Our JV beat Jasper on Monday, and then a team out of Indianapolis, Salem Leadership Academy, on Saturday. Freshmen beat a fresh soft team from Mount Vernon on Thursday night, and then 7th and 8th grade swept North Posey. So great week for the young Titans.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck on Friday night. We'll see you after the game on the post-game show, and we'd like to wish the best of luck to the players. But right now, we would like to thank all of you for joining us here on 89.1 The Bash for the Nick Hart Show, and be sure to catch us each week at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night for your look inside GIbson Southern Titans football. But before we sign off, we would like to thank all of the supporters of the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show has been brought to you by Ziliak Enterprises, United Fidelity Bank, Titan Youth Football League, Trapping and Removal of Animal Pest, Tin Barge Seed, South Gibson Grain, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating LLC, Progressive Health Rehabilitation and Orthopedic Associates, by Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, MyTech Systems, Mayflower Gardens and Gifts, Make Your Mark, Lewis Plumbing and Heating, Kissel Farms Incorporated, Kiesel Enterprises Incorporated, Kathy Solman Photography, Julia's School of Dance, Johnson Commercial Mowing, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Hilliard Lyons, Matt Monroe, Hydorn Construction, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hob Range Hood Company, Gerald and Trudy Bledsoe, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Daylight Land Management, Cox Family Eye Care PC, Chips Sell My Tees, Brett's Car Care, and Matt Mickle of AgriGold. The Nick Hart Show is a special production of 89.1 The Bash and the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department.